Hi, guys. The majority of women out here were never taught what a good man looks like. They were never shown the true blueprint and inner workings of a good man. A lot of women didn't grow up with strong, positive role models, so it makes it damn near impossible for them to actually be able to identify one. A lot of this has to do with the female liberation movements that sold them lies. The feminist movement got their mothers, and the Me Too movement got them. They have little to no personal examples of good men. So they seek out society and social media to teach them what a good man looks like and what a good man actually is. And what does social media do and society? They glorify the exact opposite of a good man. And these women fall for the trap because that's all they have to go off of. They get fed images of violence, arrogance, and womanizers as the ideal of manliness. They're shown men who are valued for their wealth and physical strength rather than their integrity and masculinity. So when you come along leading by example of what a good man actually is and what it really entails is foreign to them, and they go into fight or flight mode. The bad thing about going into fight or flight mode is that most people choose to flee instead of fight because it's easier to run away and avoid unfamiliar and uncomfortable situations instead of confronting them head on. By simply existing and being yourself as a good man, you're introducing her to a world that's so far removed from her reality and every single thing that she's been conditioned to believe. Her initial response is confusion, and then her second response is to reject it. A common defense mechanism that these women will use is self sabotage by creating self fulfilling prophecies because they believe they're not worthy of a good man. See, the thing is, most women want a good man. Most women want to be treated right. Nobody goes through life saying, yeah, I want to be treated like shit today. But if that's what you're used to and what you're familiar with, then you start to equate it to love. I've literally had women come to me and say that a man doesn't love them if he doesn't hit them because they equate physical violence to love. They equate jealousy to love. They equate control to love because this is all they've known. At the end of the day, these are all the same, though. They're trauma responses. And depending on who you are and what type of person you are, you might feel the urge to step in and save her or prove how much of a good man you are to her in an effort to show her how things could be with you. However, remember this, you are not obligated to be anyone's educator, especially when you've got your own battles to fight, your own growth, personal growth to focus on, your own path that you're walking. Staying true to who you are unapologetically, focusing on your future, bettering yourself, and leveling up in life, these are your task at hand. Because while the right woman can definitely accelerate your path because she's an asset to your life, the wrong one will derail you and slow you down because she's a liability to your life. It's not your job to patch the cracks from a woman's inadequate childhood or flawed upbringing. Remember that. It's not your job to try and undo the warped stories that she's digested and accepted as universal truths. You're not expected to instantly transform a woman's perspective on life. That's not your job. That's hers. Because let me remind you, the average life expectancy of men worldwide is 72. And that's on the long end of the spectrum. Do you know how short 72 years is? Meaning you don't have the luxury of wasting time trying to re raise someone. If she does not come to you, at least willing to admit her flaws and, more importantly, willing to actually work on herself, you're wasting your time. Because in order for you to make it work with a woman like this, she has to be willing to put in the work on herself and willing to trash certain parts of her beliefs and behavior that have been constructed through years and years and years of societal conditioning and social media bombardment. Your ultimate goal is to keep being you unapologetically and authentically, to continue evolving and growing and pursuing your ambitions, because in doing so, you'll raise the bar along with your standards and expectations. Remember that staying true to who you are doesn't mean that you have to fit into someone else's definition of what they feel like a good man is. It means living life according to your principles, regardless of whether they align with societal norms or not. And if your authenticity makes other people uncomfortable, remember that it's not your responsibility to adjust your identity to fit their comfort zone either. Continue to be the self defined good man that you are and let the world adjust. They'll be okay, trust me. So, until the next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Good stuff, like always. Um, this is very, very, very important, especially for women to understand this, because it's, we it's not, sometimes we neglect those small points, and we don't take it seriously, and later on we find ourselves um, facing battles and facing troubles and trials and tribulations, and then we don't know where it came from. And this is one of the detail, one of the problem that we can that can cause those battles in the future. But the person has to be able to acknowledge and be willing to work through the whole process to reevaluate herself and the things that she knows, so she can renew her mind to produce better results, right? To change her mindset, so she can receive this not as something that is changing her for worse, but changing her for better, right? For the best. And it takes a work of God, especially nowadays, for someone to recognize that they are not, what they should. And sometimes it's their fault, sometimes it's not. Reality just slap you in the face and just decide for you certain things, and you have little power to fight back against reality. But sometimes we just push ourselves to leave this situation, even if reality have shown us something else, but we're still stubborn and we want to do it our ways, even if the results are showing that the other way works better than your own ways, right? So, or works better than our ways. And I'm still learning this thing, man. But fortunately, a lot of people, they don't really care, right? They don't really care to better themselves and to bring the best out of themselves, right? To be the best version of themselves, right? They don't do it. They just don't want to do it, right? Because this takes a lot of work in self-reflection and self-examination, and you have to look at the mirror and recognize that you have a lot of flaws, and sometimes those quality that you thought it was a quality was actually a flaw, and you have to change it the other way around. And sometimes it takes a lot of energy out of you to be able to recognize that, hey, everything that I believed and everything that I thought it was true and beneficial for me, it wasn't. It's actually not. So, yeah. Being a good man it's not easy like certain people think. Being a good man is a lot of work that God has to do through you, or to do to you, to do on you, to do for you, so that you become the man that God wants you to be. And it's still constantly, a work that never stops, never change, and never change, but never ends. That's the word that I was looking for. You really have to be strong, right? Even if you're not recognized as a good man, you really have to be strong, because sometimes people recognize it, sometimes they don't. And they are not obligated to know when to recognize it, because since you already recognize it yourself and the closest person recognize it, and that's fine. You don't have to be recognized by the entire world. 2 people is enough. But as I always say, good stuff. Good, very good stuff.